Now, in the spirit of old things being new, here is a revival of the greatest segment of the whole of Greyburn production. Photography in action. See how Simon is using his up-to-date Canon 550, whatever it is, to take an amazing photo of that. You'll be adjusting all the aperture and lens settings and things like that to do this. That's true photography in action.
So we've returned to Glen Lethnot, the site of our very first video 5 years ago, and it feels really good to be back. This place is beautiful, especially this time of the year now that all the heather has come out. You get these lovely purple tones matched against the rich green of the landscape.
When we first came here, it was quite ominous and quite misty and changeable, which I think, to be honest, is going to happen at some point today, which only adds to the place really. But it's nice just to get this first view of lovely colours coming out, blues, purples, browns. But this place is dear to our hearts because it is, of course, where Greyburn Productions really kind of started. It didn't really have an identity at that point, but we'd still consider it the first video of Greyburn, so
it's good to be back.
Sheep. Some say that the sheep in Lethnot get scalpy haircuts, like Simon. You know what you should do?
What?
Bring back that haircut that you had last time we were here, but it was kind of your old haircut at the front, but your new haircut at the back.
It was a bowl, and I hated it. And I never even asked for it, they just gave me a bowl haircut for some reason. And yeah, I had to suffer it for about 2 months, and then I just got it cut again.
Seriously, look up the first video in the photography in action segment and you'll see it.
This is the Bridge of Death, one of many bridges of death, and one of many deaths of death that we have here. We're not very original at naming things, but I'm a way to go across it. You may remember this. Here we go.
That bridge is a lot of fun, but you do feel like it could turn on you at any second. You could fall into the river. Thankfully, it's not going to happen. But yeah, that bridge, don't go across here if you've got a faint heart, which I don't. So thumbs up for everybody. So it would seem as if we're not the only ones going for a walk through the beautiful Glen Lethnot today. And we've made ourselves some friends. Look at them wandering off into the hills. Wonder if we'll catch them up.
Well, here we are. The hill that we filmed our grand finale last time. Look how high it is. That zigzag path. It's going to take one hell of a beating.
Well, actually, in this particular instance, we're going to go over there and we're going to go up that wee side bit and go a different way through. So
that looks even worse.
In fact, the hill is another 200 metres taller than that one that we're going to be scaling the top of today. So I hope you're ready to rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Roll.
So we decided today to take a slightly different route through the glen, and this is turning out to be absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's a bit tough going because it's not really a proper path, we're just aiming for the bridge there, but we've kind of got this bouldery slope, all this purpley heather, there's shots of pink and yellow, all sorts of colour just coming right out of the landscape, and it's making this into something a wee bit different, a wee bit special. It's still Lethnot, but it doesn't feel like the Lethnot that we're familiar with, so we're in brand new, interesting territory.
So, we're here in the bonus bit of Glen Lethnot. We're ready to go up there, which looks like a really exciting adventure. It kind of reminds me of a walk that we once did in Glen about a year before we first came to Glen Lethnot. It was really good, but to get there, we now have a second bridge of death. And then to be seen if it's deathy as the first bridge. So that's what we're waiting to find out.
Will this bridge be as bad? Only time will tell. The deck looks a wee bit better. Yeah, it's definitely leading this way into the river. But wow, this scenery is beautiful. Thoroughly recommend coming here for a walk. I mean, look at this.
Welcome to the ramp of Hades. It's a real bastard of a getting off here.
This is Glen Lethnot, where water falls in style. As you can see here, that little stream that we were looking at climbing up earlier has emerged in this wonderful waterfall system, and it's very loud, as you can probably hear. I'm having to talk over it quite a fair amount. And the rocks just shaped lovely by this waterfall. It's all twisting and turning. Just a lovely little scene.
This really is what walking the Highlands is about. You think, you look down there and you get, that's what you kind of climb. We're not come up too far yet, but you can just tell the view is going to be amazing when we get to the top. But the journey there is just as important.
Actually, I'm not that unfit, but I am pretty tired after climbing all the way up there, and we've still got quite a lot to go. That's really steep there. Now, we're completely out the way of Glen Lethnot now. This is really remote where we've come to. It's not really, you've kind of ended all the U-shaped valley stuff, and it's just these sort of small river valleys now, up until probably the start of the Cairngorms and kind of outwards towards Braemar in that direction.
Yeah, we're kind of really up in the remote part of this area now. But it's lovely, and I'm enjoying this walk, but we're bracing ourselves for this part. We'll report back when we get to the top.
Well, we've come to a point in the climb now. I think we've done the worst of it, but that was brutal. You can't even see where we're that high up into the hills.
And it just gets bleaker and bleaker. There's actually nothing in that direction. It just goes on and on and on. But yeah, we found a point where we can take a quick rest, and it's right here. So let's go have a look at this ruined building that's halfway up the mountain. Look what we found.
One of Jag from Spiz's steady cams that he made. You've got to put the cam in the middle there. It doesn't have the bit to attach it on though, but see. Hello,
Yeah.
Jag.
Yep, your Steadicam has rusted away. So essentially we've stopped for a bit of a break because we needed it. I'm feeling fresh now. We've had chocolate bars, a bit of a drink, and it really is remote up here. There is absolutely nothing going on in the immediate area. It's lovely though. But yeah, it kind of feels, to me anyway, and I'm assuming to yourself, it feels like it's our own personal place now.
Yeah, because I was thinking probably you wouldn't even get proper hill walkers and hikers bothering much with this sort of area, because there's not really any kind of big summit or thing to achieve like a Monroe or anything. It's just really our own little place. Except this little hut here. This used to be where Hector the Hermit used to live. He was a famous Glen Lethnot resident in the turn of the 20th century. He used to croft up here and everyone knew him, but he was a bit strange.
Now we're on top of this ridge and it is wonderful up here. That's the kind of Lethnot we know from down there, and we're on the opposite side now, kind of traipsing towards that path over there. We'll get there eventually.
So this is the Glen Lethnot Iron Brew Quarry. Now you might think, what the hell am I talking about? Iron Brew is a beverage made in a factory somewhere on the west side of Scotland. Well actually no. As you can see here, There is pure, untreated iron brew. Looks tasty, doesn't it, Simon?
It's so tasty that I decided to buy a lilt instead.
Everybody knows that the Egyptians built the pyramids, right? Wrong. Actually, the first people to build the pyramids were the Picts, up here in Angus in Scotland. As you can see, it is a majestic thing. However, there's one slight miscalculation that the Picts made when building their epic monuments. It's friggin' tiny.
It looks like somebody forgot to build the bridge. The only way across the river now is this ford. We're going to have to attempt these stepping stones.
Well, this is the hut, or it isn't in fact the hut, that we came to the first time we were here in Glen Lethnot. Now, it's been upgraded, so sadly the funny graffiti that once adorned its walls is no longer here. The Raymond and Mandy stuff, so this is all looking pretty fresh. There's even coat hangers and a weird little set of shelves. But what is still here is the 18mm plywood table. Now, if you remember me talking about this last time, plywood is actually where you take many sheets of wood and stick them together to make one big thick sheet, and it's like a manufactured wood. It's not real timber, you know, but it's similar in some respects to MDF, which is also a kind of manufactured wood. Hardboard also is of the same family as well. So the thing about the walls here is they're actually made of little bits of cut timber, so there's a lot of wood representation here.
Now, the other thing about this hut, if you ever watched the first video, is you remember that I started to piece together a poem that I actually ended up reading at the end of the video as a big finale. I hadn't quite got there at this point, so it was embarrassingly laughable. In fact, probably the real thing was too, but I digress. I thought I'd bring this up just now because we're going to redo it again, George Lucas style, with new special effects including a CGI kilt.
So we've come right back round, and now the magnificent view of Lethnot's starting to open up again. Once we get to that little point in the middle of that small hill, this is where we'll get the best view of the entire glen.
But yeah, it's been 5 years since we were last here. Obviously, we've come back here for our 5-year anniversary special, and in some ways, this place hasn't changed, and we never expected it to. But in other ways, in minor ways, things were a wee bit different. But it's just as special as it ever was.
Quiet place in the hills. There's a place called Glen Lethnot, narrow and tall, with winding rivers and waterfalls. The weather is wild and changes all day, and hinders all who come this way. I came here once, me and my friend. We followed it through, right to the end. Not a soul was here in this strange place, and we left it behind with a smile on our face. Got another poem for you.
There's a place called Glen Lethnot, and it's turned out pretty shittily. Don't you wish you were in Italy?
No.
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 I'd rather be in Dundee.
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 Dundee. Well, not particularly.